logic. Finish. Let us take this concept. Now, we have a interface called database.batch. If you want to run any Apex class, if you want to run any Apex class, if you want to run any Apex class as a batch Apex, if you want to run any Apex class as a batch Apex, then the class has to implement an interface called database.batch. If you want any Apex class to run, if you want any Apex class to run like a batch Apex, class has to implement an interface called database.batchable interface. It has to implement an interface called database.batchable interface. If you implement a database.batchable interface, it has to implement three methods. What are they? Start method, execute method. What is the purpose of start? Start method is to fetch the data. Start method is to fetch the data on which you want to run the operation. Start method is used to fetch the data on which you want to run the operation. Now, how the start method will be defined? We are going to define database dot query locator or iterable start database dot batchable context. This is the syntax of start method. Start method. The moment I execute a batch, batch will automatically call a start method. The moment I execute a batch will automatically call a start method. Start method will fetch the data. When it says start method will fetch the data, from where it is fetching? It is fetching the data from database. In case if you want to get the data from database, if you want to get the data from database, if you want to write a simple SQL query and get the data, we will go for database.query locator. If already there is a data in the database, you want to write a simple SQL query, get the data. You want to write a simple SQL query, get the data, then we go for database.query locator. Up to how many records it can give you? 50 million records. General SQL query will give you 50,000 records. But when you go for database.query locator in the batch Apex, it will give you 50 million records. So generally, when you go for batch Apex, when you are working with a larger set of data, there is a possibility of encountering a governing limits issue. Then to resolve this issue, we will go for batch Apex. If you want to implement a batch Apex, if you want to implement a concept of batch Apex, class has to implement an interface. Class has to implement an interface called database.query locator. Class has to implement an interface database.batchable interface. If a class is implementing database.batchable interface, then it has to implement a start method. When it says start method, what is the purpose of start? Start method is to fetch the data. What is the purpose of the start method? Start method will fetch the data. When start method is fetching the data, when start method is fetching the data, up to how many records you can fetch? Up to 50 million records. Up to how many records you can fetch? 50 million records. Okay. Next, what is the second one? Iterable. What is the purpose? What is the purpose of it? What is the purpose of this? If I don't want to write a SQL query, I want to create my own cursor and get it. Then I will go for iterable. Like create a wrapper class, move the cursor forward, backward, get the records what you want. Then up to how many records it can give you? 50,000 records only. Iterable can give you 50,000. In case you want to make a complex list of records, complex wrapper class, you want to go with a complex wrapper class or a complex list of records, then I'll go for iterable. But 99% we'll go with what? Query locator. So what is the purpose of query locator? Using a simple SQL query, we are trying to fetch list of record. Up to how many records? Up to how many records? 50 million records. 50 million records. So when is this start method executed? Start method is automatically executed when you call batch x. The moment I say batch x, automatically what will happen? Start method will be executed. The moment I call batch x, automatically start method will be executed. The moment we call batch x, automatically start method will be executed. Okay. The next we have execute. Whatever the logic you want to define, that is defined within the execute method. Whatever the logic you want to define, that is executed within the execute method. Whatever the logic you want to define, that is executed within the execute method. Execute method. Then we have finish method. After completing all the operation, whatever the final operation you want to perform, that is defining. Start method, execute method, finish method. Start, execute, finish. Start method, execute method, finish method. What we have? Start, execute, finish. Start method, execute method, finish method. Start method, execute method, finish method. What is the purpose of start? Fetch the data. Up to how many? 50 million. Using what? Simple SQL query. What is the purpose of execute? Start method will fetch the data, break them into number of batches. Let us say I am getting 10,000 records. It is breaking them 1,000, 1,000, 1,000, 1,000. On every 1,000 record, execute will run. Execute will run on every 1,000 separately. Because you divided 1,000, 1,000, 1,000 as separate. Each 1,000 record you have taken as separate batch. On every 1,000, execute method will run automatically. So who will call start? The moment you say execute batch, start will be called automatically. And execute will be called by start. Start is going to call execute. After all the executes are completed, finish is going to call automatically. So these are not invoked by you. They are automatically fired when you execute a batch. When you execute the batch, start will be fired. Start will break the data. Automatically it calls execute. Execute will be calling finish. I hope you're good. Clear for everyone? Okay. If you look at the three examples, we are finding that database got batchable context in every way. There is a database got batchable context, database got batchable context, database batchable. Now basically it is an interface. It is a interface. Now this interface will have get job ID, get job ID, get change job ID. Two methods will be there. Now the current job which is running, current change job which is running, if you want to know their IDs, we will use this bc dot get job ID. Get me the main job ID. bc dot get child job ID. Give me the current child job which is running. Are you clear about this? Are you clear about this? So what we are doing? Database dot batchable context will have only two methods: get job ID, get child job ID. In the current context of the program, whatever the child job that is running, that is given here. Get a child job ID, get job ID, get child job ID, get job ID, get child job ID. Are you getting my point? Clear? So overall, look at the structure of the program. Look at the structure of the program. We are implementing an interface of database.batchable, right? We are implementing an interface called database.batchable. What is this interface, boss? Database.batchable. This is a global interface, Amma. Like public access modifier, public, global. The interface is a global. Interface is a global. Because it's a global, class has to be what? Why are you defining the class as a global? Because I was implementing an interface called database.batchable, which is a global interface. Because the interface is a global, the class has to be a global. Okay. Class implements database.batchable interface. First method, global database.relocated start batchable context. Then what is the data you want to fetch? Opportunity. Then I'm doing then database dot get. Do you remember in the SOC I told there are three ways of implementation? One is array bracket, other one is database.query, third one is database.get_query locator. This query locator will give cursor. This query locator will give you cursor. This query locator will give you what? Cursor. Because it is a cursor, I was able to move the cursor to 1000 records one set, next 1000 another set, next 1000 another set. I was able to move forward and backward. So how do you execute? Database.get_query locator. Database.get_query locator. Up to how many records? Right. Now, once you get the data, it is going to divide them into number of batches. So what it does? Let us say I got 500 records, 100 it divided. Is divided. Now execute will be running on this batch separately. One execute will be running on this, another execute will be running on this, another execute, another execute, another execute. So how many executes are running? 5 executes. All of them are running what? Parallelly. At a time, how many execute methods are running? 5 execute methods are running parallelly. Because on every batch, separate execute will be called. You divided the job into number of batches. On every batch, one execute will be running. So at a time, how many batches are running? 5 executes are running. At a time, how many executes are running? 5 executes. Now, this executor, if this is on this executor, the scope will contain what? The 100 records. Now in the scope, which records are there? On this executor. Now, in this execute, on this group one execute is running. These 100 records are in the scope. Scope is this 100 records. This execute is running on this. The scope is this 100 records. So the current set of records on which execute is running, current set of records on which the current execute is running, current set of records on which the execute is running, that data is in the scope. What my point? Now data is broken into number of sets. On every set, execute method will be calling. So on which set the execute method is called, that set is called scope. That set is called scope. Are you clear about this? So what is the scope here? The current set of records on which execute is running. Current set of records on which execute is running. So I want to take then I'm making it. This is what I create. Now start, execute, finish. You want to know the status of the job? Select ID.
Satish,
Yes.
so you mean to say that for every batch, 100, it will be divided into 100?
I took an example at 500. I divided into 100. How many you have to take is we have to define it.
Define it in the program itself?
If you hold for a minute, if you allow me to complete the topic, you know each and every topic. This will be the third step from now. Okay. Just hold for a couple of minutes. I'll give you the size of it. Okay. BC dot. Then I want to print some status. So we're giving just, I want to just find out the status, whether it's success or not. If you want, you can send a, if you want, we can send a, what was the bug here? Job ID. It was the job ID. Get job ID, right? It's a method. Right. So this is how we are doing. Now what was that start method? Fetch the data. How many records will be fetched in the start? Can you guarantee? I told maximum 50 million. Minimum it can be one record also. Minimum it can be one record also. Now probably my record is get that account. Based on that account, I want to get the corresponding account, corresponding opportunities, contact keys. It is very old account. But logic what I am running is, the logic what I am running is on its opportunities, contacts and cases. Account is only one. It is giving only one account. But my logic was running on its contacts, opportunities, cases. Probably all of them together 30,000 records are there. So what happened? The number of records which are involved in this operation. We got the data. Based on this data, we are making some logic. On how many records are you making the logic? At the end of the game, on how many records we are performing the operation is the question mark. It is not only the record which we fetch in the start. In the start, you fetch the record, okay. On that record, you are performing a logic. While you are performing a logic, how many records are involved? Now I told, get me accounts. There are 10 accounts. But my logic is update its opportunities. Each account has 5 opportunities. So on how many records you are working? 50 records. How many accounts we fetched? 10 only. But the number of records on which you are performing the operation is 50. I told get me the accounts, update their opportunities. But total number of records on which you are making DML is 50. Because I told every account has 5 opportunities. Okay. Total on how many records the logic is getting executed. Start method will fetch, execute method will, okay, start method will fetch, execute method, okay, then break them into number of batches. Then on every batch, execute will be run. Here I took 500 as an example and I took 100. The same question instead of 100, if I take 5, I will ask the same question. Now I have to tell you that data is broken into number of batches. So I have to take some count. Maybe a 10 or 20 or 30 or 40 or 50, anything I have to take. So I have given here 100 I have taken. Now on every batch, execute is running. So how many times? Depends upon number of batches. Now in the scope, what is there? The list of records on which it is running. On every batch, there is a list of record. We broke them into number of set. Every set has a group of record. On which set you are running, that set is in the scope. After running all the execute, finish method. Right? Now we got this class. Out of these 3 methods, any query from anyone? Start, execute, finish. Okay. Now the question is, how do you execute? How do you execute? Next, while executing, how do you define the size of the batch? You have to execute. Now you have to tell to the Salesforce, boss, break them into batch, and you have to tell to the Salesforce what is the size of the batch. Because Salesforce, you are telling, boss, should I take my own default value, or are you going to tell your size? To demonstrate this example, I have taken 100. But how do you tell to the Salesforce this is the size what we require? At the time of executing a batch, we have to mention size of the batch also. So how do you execute this? Now, if you want to execute, created an object. Now I am giving Java ID equal to database dot execute. Now, did I mention any size here? I have not mentioned size. If you don't mention the size, default size is 200. If you don't mention the size, what is the default size it is going to take? 200. You wrote a start method, you wrote a execute method, you wrote a finish method. Now you have to execute this batch. While executing the batch, you are supposed to mention the size. If you don't mention the size, default size will be taken as 200. The next we had, or else I can give Java. Now I give 1000. What is the size I give? 1000. Now it will be breaking 1000 records into one batch. Now I have given 2 here. So when do you define the size? At the time of executing a batch of Excel, you are supposed to mention the size. If you don't mention the size, what is the size it is going to take? It is going to take a size of 200. Default size is 200. Otherwise, you are supposed to mention the size. What is the size I can mention? Anything between 1 to 2000. Anything between 1 to 2000. Right. Are you getting? It is going to divide them into data anything between 1 to 2000. If you don't mention the size, 200. Somebody may take the size of 5, somebody may take 100, somebody may take 500. It depends upon their requirement. Got it? Am I clear? So how do you execute? Create an object for the batchfx class, then database.execute, object of the class followed by size. I hope you are good. Right? Clear for everyone? Somebody from online asked me, did you get the point? Somebody from online?
Yes, thank you. Yeah, I got it. Thank you.
Allow me to complete. Every point will be in the sequence order. Right? Right. Right. Fine, boss. This is the order of execution. Let us execute and see. Now we are giving database dot size 10. So I am breaking 10 records into one set. How do you execute it? Database dot execute batch. So when I execute it, go to the jobs. Then what we have? FX jobs. Failed. Why failed? Custom validation exception. Amount greater. There is a validation rule defined on this opportunity object, which is throwing an error message. No. What was the error? Once again, let us see. Completed field custom validation exception. Amount is greater. There is an opportunity trigger which is running there. Somebody has written a trigger there. Let's go back and see. Go back to the jobs, FX jobs. Operation is complete. How many jobs we got here? How many jobs? 3 jobs. How many jobs? 3. Why 3? Why it is 3? Why 3? We have taken 3. We have taken 3 because the number of records are 30 records. Number of records are 30, so we are able to see 3. Number of records are 30. There is a reason. There is a reason we are unable to see. Right. Let us go to the next one. I hope you are clear with this one. Now, how many batches will be coming? 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 Boss, that I cannot say. It depends upon how many records it is giving. I cannot say it depends upon how many records it is giving. It depends upon how many records it is giving. It purely depends upon how many records it is giving. We cannot say that it purely depends upon how many records it is giving. Why? Now when you write a SQL query, you may get 10 records, I may get 20 records, somebody may get 100 records, somebody may get 100 records. We cannot tell how many records we are going to get. We cannot tell how many records we are going to get. We cannot tell how many records we are going to get. Are you getting my point? Boss, we are not sure how many records we are going to get. When you are writing a SQL query, it depends upon the concept. It depends upon the concept. I am not sure how many records you are going to get. Depends upon the number of records. Depends upon the number of records. Depends upon the size of your batch. Depends upon the number of records. Depends upon the size. Batches will be created. Right? Are you clear about this? So, when you write a SQL query, are you sure how many records we are going to get? No. Are you sure everybody gives the same size? No. So, what is the size you mentioned? How many records we got? Based on that, the number of batches will be created. I hope you are clear with this. First of all, what is the purpose of this batch? 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 Tell me the purpose of this batch. When you are working with a larger set of data, there is a possibility of When you are working with a larger set of data, there is a possibility of encountering governing limits issue. When you are working with a larger set of data, there is a possibility of encountering governing limits issue. If you are encountering a governing limit issue, how could you resolve it? We'll be able to resolve this by using BatchMX. How the BatchMX will resolve this? BatchMX will resolve this because it is going to break the data into number of subjobs. On every job, the transaction is performed independently. As a transaction is performed independently, right, it will have its own set of governing limits. This is how we will be able to resolve the issue. I hope you are good with this. People have followed, right? Let us take one more example. Now, how do you track the status? Async apex job. Why? Any asynchronous job that is running will be registered with the async apex job. With the finish method, I wrote a SQL query, right? To get the status of the job. Anyone has any query till now?
Satish, can we see the child jobs where they are running?
Come again.
So it'll split into multiple batches, right? Can we see all of those instances, or only we can see the base instance?
I couldn't get. Could you please repeat your question once again?
So if there are 1,000 records and if we give 100, it will break into 10 different batches, right?
Okay.
So it executes parallelly, right? So can we see all those instances, or we can only see the one?
Now, it's a job. Job include all together. Now, what is the job ID we are getting here? It's a complete job, not a subjob. If you want to know the subjob details, what you are supposed to do is, now start method. Start is only one job. The entire job start method. Entire job finish method. Where was the data breaking into number of batches? In the execute. Start will be only executing once. Finish will be calling only once. Which is executing more number of times? Which is executing parallelly? Finish method. If you want to know the subjob details, here you are supposed to define. DC dot get. From here you can get the change of ID. In the start you will get only job ID. In the finish also you get only job ID. Change of details if you want to get, in the execute method you have to write whatever the data you want to get. Did you get my point, boss?
Yeah, got it.
So in the start is only entire job, only one start. Entire job, only one finisher. Execute, start will break them into batches. Execute is running number of times, not all other. So the child job will be available only in the execute. So while I am doing the execute, what is the job ID? What is the child job ID on which this execute is running? So execute will have child jobs. Okay, boss. Any other query from anyone? Yes. See, when you want to go for a batch apex, it's only query locator, no other option. When you want to go for a query locator, it's only when you want to go for a batch apex, it's only query locator. Only query locator. Okay. Yeah. Next. Any other queries? No? Okay.
Hello, Satish.
Yes.
What is the
Online 1 minute.
patchable content?
Obviously, when you say you gave 31 records, you told break the set into each set containing 10. So obviously, what is it? 10, 10, 10, 1. So it will be 4 batches. Okay. See, when I say batch size is 10, that means maximum I can have 10. Doesn't mean that everybody has to have 10. So when I say exam is for 100 marks, it's not that everybody gets 100 marks. Maximum what they get is 100 marks. Okay. When I give the batch size, it is the maximum size. When I told batch size is 200, maximum size of the batch is 200. So it can be anything between 1 to 200. Depends upon the availability of the records. Yeah, somebody else online, go ahead.
Hi, sir. What is this database.batchable context class?
Now I told you it is an interface which will be containing two methods. One is get job ID, other one is get child job ID. This interface contains only two methods. What is it? Database.batchable context is a interface. Here in the Kubel also you see Kubel context. It is also interface. Schedulable context. It is also interface. In that interfaces, one method will be there. What is it? Get job ID. Now when you register with async apex job, job ID will be created. If you want to know the job ID, we will use this. So database.batchable context is a interface which will refer to the job ID of the current operation which is going on. So in this database.batchable context, we have bc.get job ID, bc.get child job ID. Right?
Okay.
Okay. Let us take next example. I hope everyone is good with this. Clear? Clear for everyone? Once again. Okay. Can you write an example for this? So create a batch box. Create a batch box. Which will fetch all the accounts and update rating as one. Create a batch box. Create a batch box which will fetch all the accounts and update rating as hot. Create a batch box which will fetch all the account records and update rating as hot.
And always batch class needed to be a global class.
Yes, because the interface is a global, right? If any class want to implement a global interface, the class also should be a global.
And there is no other more interfaces other than batchable context interface in a batch apex class, or do we have more?
See. These are the two interfaces. Database.batchable, database.batchable context. Batchable has finish methods. Context have still we have other things related to state and other things will be discussing that. But as of now, what we discuss is only these two. Database.batchable, database.batchable context. These are the two interfaces as of now I have discussed. Right, okay.
Satish,
Yes, sir.
sorry to ask you, but at the top we are implementing database.batchable, but using that implements keyword, but batchable context we are directly using it. Is that the way we use it, or?
It's a parameter. The class is not implementing it, it's a parameter. It is a parameter. So which will be automatically passed by the batch box. It's a parameter which is automatically passed by the batch operation. Okay, the class
But you said that is an interface.
Interface can be a parameter. Now this is a list. Is it not a parameter? This is also one parameter. It is a parameter to a method. It is a parameter to a method. Now instance of this will be created by the system internally. Here, class implements. Here, the method is not implementing. Database.query, everyone get. Database.queryLocator, I am not implementing it. I am passing, it's a parameter in the method. It's a parameter in the method. Second point, are we calling the start method manually? We are not calling. Who is calling it? System is calling it. So system is automatically creating an instance for the interface and it is passing the required parameter there. Are you getting my point? Now that is a method which is invoked by the system only. So whatever the required instance of the interface is required, they are creating it and passing it internally. It is a parameter. Whereas here in this context, what was this? It is not a parameter. Class implementing interface. Here we are expecting this as an interface. This interface is expected as a parameter. Instance of this is expected as a parameter. Who is going to pass that parameter? System. Because I am not calling start method manually. I am not calling execute method manually. I told only database.execute batch. The system is taking care about creating that instance and passing it. Okay. I hope you got my point. This is an interface.
Thank you.
This is also an interface. Fine. Let us go to the. I hope everybody is done this. Let us go to very important point. Listen carefully, everyone. Listen carefully, everyone. I got a job. Now execute the start on that. Now in this class I have count equal to 0. Count equal to 0, then start method is invoked, 500 records are fetched, they are divided into 5 batches. On every batch execute is running. If this execute fail, what will happen to remaining executes? They will run because all of them are independent. All of them are running as independent. They will run. If anyone fails, no issue. Now in this execute method, logic is count equal to count plus 1. This is the logic what I gave in execute. Count equal to count plus 1. Let us say this started. Count equal to 0, count is 1. If the count is 1 is transferred to this execute, count will be 2, count will be 3, count will be 4, count will be 5, count will be 7, count will be 8, because I don't know the randomness of how they execute. 9. So what is happening? Whatever the change you made, if it is transferred to next, then finally what will be the count? Change that is made in one execute, if it is transferred to another execute, finally the count value will be 500. No, the change what we made here, it is not getting transferred to another. If it is not getting transferred, what happened? Count equal to 1, count equal to 1, count equal to 1. Up to. Now, after this execute, what is the value of count? Why? The change made in one execute, that is not reflected to another execute. Then what is the count value? Count value is still 0. Now we want to know any change made by one execute, is it reflected in the another execute or not? The change what I made in one execute, is it getting reflected in another execute or not? If it is getting reflected, the size has to be 500. If it is not getting reflected, size equal to 0. The changes made in one execute, are they getting reflected in another execute or not? If they are getting reflected, count will be 500, otherwise 0. Now we divide them into 3 different operations. The changes made in one operation, if they are notified to another operation, then boss, my count is 1, okay, plus 2. My count is 2, plus 1. Count is 3, next one. Count is 5, again. So they are notifying. If the changes made by one execute are notified to another execute, the count will be 500. If they are not notified, count will be what? Count will be what? Only 0. So start with 0, you made changes, the other one doesn't know, other one made changes, other one doesn't know. So what is the count? 0. So is the data transferred from one execute to another execute or not, is the question. Is the data transferred from one execute to another execute or not, is the question. Then we are going for I'll take 0. Or else I can take a constructor and give 0 values. I don't want to write extra constructor, so I give set array equal to 0. Otherwise, I can go with defining a constructor, setting the value equal to 0. 0. It's okay. Now I'm giving 0 here. Let's go to what is the first method we have? Database dot batchable context. What is the next parameter we need to give? I'm going global void. Global void finish database dot batchable context. Okay, I'll insert a record for easy understanding. So I will be checking the final count. Start execute. Now count value is incremented. The changes made by one execute, are they getting reflected in another execute or not? So it gives 5 records, 1 batch. Execute. Batch call. What is the value of count? Count is 0, size is 0. So what is happening? The data in one execute is not getting transferred to another execute, because every execute is running independently. Every execute is running independently, so there is no transfer of data between executes. But according to my requirement, I want to transfer the data. Let us say I have 1 lakh records. I told group all the records as per the owner. Owner list of opportunities. Owner list of opportunities. I told I have a 1 lakh opportunities. I told them to group according to the user. User, what are the opportunities you own? User, opportunities that you own. Now, the records of Satish, will they be in first 100 only? All the opportunities of Satish will be in first 200 only? All the opportunities of Satish will be in first 500 only? I cannot, right? When you get 1 lakh records, they are distributed. They are distributed into number of batches. Some of the records will be in first batch, some will be in second batch, some will be in third batch. Now what should I do? I have to gather all my records in different batches, put them in a list. So I want the data from different batches to maintain their state. I want them to exchange the data and maintain the information. What is the data I received in the first batch? Put them in list. Second batch, add them to same list. Third batch, add them to same list. Then finally I am going to get my records. My requirement is data should be transferred from one execute to another execute. But the batchbox says I cannot transfer the data from one execute to another execute. Then how will you implement this? That's where we implement next interface. We have another interface called database dot. What is the interface name? Database dot stateful. If a class is implementing, if a batchbox is implementing database dot stateful, automatically the data will be transferred from one execute to another execute. If a class implements database dot stateful, the changes made in one execute will be automatically reflected to another execute. So the same program I am executing once again. What was this? Count equal to 20, size equal to 0. Why again? When you implement a database dot stateful, only the state of static variables are state of non-static variables are maintained. State of static variables are not maintained. When a class implements a database dot stateful interface, it will maintain the state of non-static variables only. If it is a static variable, data will not be transferred between the executes. When you implement a database dot stateful, data will be transferred from one execute to another execute. Which data? Non-static data. Which data will be exchanged? Non-static data. Static data will not be exchanged. When a class implements database dot stateful interface, the state of the data is exchanged between the execute methods for non-static variables. That's how we got count equal to 20, size equal to 0. Let us see what is this size. What was that? Are you clear? So how do you maintain the state of the data in batchbox? By implementing database dot stateful. Can a class implement more than one interface? Yes, class can implement more than one interface. Next, can I call a web service? If I want to call a web service in the batchbox, I would call database dot allows. What is the next interface? If the batchbox want to implement, if the batchbox want to If the batchbox want to invoke the web service calls, then it has to implement another interface called database.allows call. So total how many interfaces we have for the batchbox? Database.batchable, database.batchable context, database.stateful, database.allows call. Now batchable is to make the class as batch. Batchable context will have ID of the job, child job ID. The next we had stateful. This is to maintain the state of the data. Allow callout, it is for web services. Are you clear? Somebody from online has asked me what interfaces are available in batch. So these are the interfaces what we have for the batch. Am I clear? Somebody from online has asked me this question.
Yeah, Satish, thank you so much.
Right. Now, I hope you are good with this. Everyone has followed this? Okay.
Satish, can you repeat allow callouts once again?
This is for calling the web services. If you want to make a web service call from execute method, if you want to make a web service call to third party system, the class has to implement this, then only web service is allowed. If you want to make any web service call from the batchbox, the class has to implement this interface, then only web service is allowed. This is for making a web service calls. Okay.
Okay.
Now, next one. So, batchbox, we have seen stated. Now, once again, come back to the point. I give this. So, by default, is the state of the data transferred? By default, state of the data is not transferred. If you want to transfer, we need to go for stateful. If a class implement stateful, we'll be able to. Okay. Now, let us look at this structure, everyone. This is start. If start method fail, what will happen? If start method fail, what will happen? The entire operation will fail. If any one of the execute method fail, what will happen? Only that execute. Now we say execute method fail. Why it failed? You might have done some DML operation. You might have made some web service call. Then you need to understand what operation you wrote, how to handle that exception. If it is a DML operation, then write database.save result, find out, or else write try catch, find out. So why it is failing? What type of operation you made depends upon that. We need to write the logic to handle it. Now there is no global definition because in the execute you may do whatever the logic you want. It may be a DML, it may be a web service call, it may be a text call, depends upon that. Okay. If any one of the execute fail, only that execute will fail. If the finish method fail, only finish will fail, start and execute will run successfully. Right? Except start, any other fail, only that operation will fail, rest all of the operation will be continued. I hope you are good. People are good with this? Good with this? Okay. Now, very important point. Very important point. Understand this carefully. Understand it carefully. Very important point. This is a queue. The queue, we have another one, flux queue. We have a queue, we have a flux queue. We have a queue, this is a flux queue. When I say database dot execute batch, First, it will go to queue. It will go to flux queue. It will go to, when you say database dot execute batch, it will go to flux queue, add in the flux queue as a holding state. Then, if the queue is free or the resource is free, then what happened? This job will be removed from here, added to. If the required resource is available and the queue is free, this will be. Why the queue is free? Because only 5 jobs can run at a time. How many batch jobs can run at a time? Only 5 batch jobs can run at a time. So if the queue is free or the required resources are available, then from the flux queue they will be added to queue, which will be in waiting state. What is the stage? First they are added to flux queue where the state is holding. Once the resource is available, they will move to the queue which is in waiting stage. Then if the job start executing, start method is called, then it is preparing state. Then running state, completed state or error state. Are you getting my point? So when you start a database dot execute batch, job is added to what? Flux queue. How many jobs can be added to flux queue? 100 jobs you can add. In the flux queue, there in which state? Holding state. Now, when the resource is available, what will happen? From the flux queue, they will be moved to queue. If they move to queue, in which state they are? Waiting state. How many jobs can be there in the queue? 5 batch jobs. How many batch jobs can be there? Only 5 batch jobs can be there in the queue. If they start executing, if they get a resource, start will be called. If the start is called, it is preparing stage. Then running, completed or not completed. I hope you are good with this. So initially they are added to flux queue. From the flux queue they will be going to the queue. From queue they will be executing. In the flux queue they are in holding state. Up to how many jobs I can hold? 100 batch jobs. How many jobs? 100 jobs I can keep it in the flux queue. Now, how many batch jobs can be there in the queue? Only 5 batch jobs can run. At a time, how many batch jobs can run? Only 5 batch jobs can run. At a time, how many batch jobs? 5 batch jobs. Are you getting my point? So the moment you say database dot execute batch, first they'll be available in flux queue. First, when you say database dot execute batch, register with async effects. That is going to get some Java 001. You put this Java in flux queue in holding state. Then move this to queue, which is in waiting state. Then start method, preparing state, execute. I hope you are good. I hope you are good with this. Okay. Now you need to understand one more quick point here. Now look at the point carefully. Look at the point. Now the jobs are in the flux queue, right? In the flux queue, it's not only batch jobs. Now it's in the batch. Okay, it's in the jobs. Now when you are going to this, all the jobs are in flux queue. Now what I can do, I can change the order of their execution. I can change the order of their execution. Now suppose jobs are added to the queue. What is the concept of queue, boss? What is the concept of queue? First in, first out. First in, first out. Whoever is registered first, now first in, first out. It is in the flux queue. Now, based on first in, first out, they will be sent to queue. Now, flux queue can change order. Now 001 is running now. I can say some job is running in the queue. I can say, boss, next job, do this. There may be some pending jobs, but next I want this job to run. Boss, before running this job, run this. So if you want to change the order of their execution, we can do it with the flux queue. Flux queue will hold the jobs. If you want to change the order of the execution, now some job is running, next run this job. Some job is already running, I am in the waiting state, but I am saying, boss, I am in holding state, but I am saying, prepare, okay, run this, prepare to run this next. I am saying, already some jobs are in the state, run this job before this job, run this job after this job. Are you getting? So if you want to shuffle the order of the jobs, we can do it. If you want to shuffle the order, we can do it. If you want to shuffle the order, we can do it. Are you getting my point? If you want to shuffle the order, we can do it. So using what? Flux queue. Flux queue will hold all the batch job recorders. How many jobs? Right. Then what is the format? Write a SQL query, get the ID of the job. So what we are doing? Move after job. Move after job. Move before job. Move the job to end. Move the job to front. Move the job to front. Move the job to end. Are you getting my point? Are you getting my point? Move after job, move before job, move job to end, move job to front. In case if you want to shuffle the order of the jobs, yes, we can do it with what? Flux queue. Using what? Flux queue. Flux queue. Using what? Flux queue. Using flux queue. I hope you got a clarity of this. So the moment you say database.execute batch, it will register with async apex job, then the job will be sent to flux queue, which is in holding state. When the resource is available from the flux queue, they will be sent to queue, which is in waiting state. Once the start method calls, it is in preparing state, then running state, closure completed state, or error state. Now, the jobs, how many jobs can be there in flux queue? 100 jobs can be there in flux queue. In the 100 jobs, I am at 30th position. I want to run this job right now. I can move it. I want this job to run after 4 jobs. I can say run this job after so and so. I want to run this job at the last, move to end. I want to run this job at the beginning. So we have that flexibility to move it. So generally it's asked the question, practical usage is very less. Practically you using it is very less, but interview there is 100% question. I hope you got my point. Clear for everyone? Everyone has followed this? Clear? Right. Before I wind up, let me revise the points one more time here. Why are you going for batch mix? What is the purpose of batch mix? Boss, Salesforce implementing a concept of implementing an architecture of multi-tenant architecture. Why it is implementing multi-tenant architecture? To avoid dominance of a particular application on the cloud, they are implementing multi-tenant architecture. To implement this multi-tenant architecture, people have given some limitations on every functionality. What are those limitations called? Governing limits. Name some of the governing limits. Total number of DMLs are 150. Total number of circles are 100. Total number of DML rows are 10,000. Total number of web service 100. Total number of flux queue 100. Total number of records written by SQL query 50,000. Number of SOSL 20. Number of email invocation 10. Okay, your queue size 60 lakhs. So all these are what? Limitations which are there. But when you are trying to work with a larger set of data, there is a possibility of encountering a problem. When there is a possibility of encountering a problem of governing limits, how do you resolve it? When you work with a huge amount of data at a time, bulk data at a time, obviously there is a scope of getting this governing limits exception. To resolve this, we are going for a batch mix. How the batch mix can resolve this? It will break the operation into number of sub operations. break the job into number of sub jobs, run all the jobs independently. As every job is running independently, every job will have its own set of boundary limits. That is how we can resolve it. Okay, to run a operation as a batch operation, what should you do? Class should implement database.batchable. Any class which is implementing database.batchable, it has to define three methods: start, execute, finish. Start is what? Fetch the data. Right? How many records? 50 million. Execute is what? Start will fetch the data, break them into batches. It will break into how many batches? Depends upon the size what you mention. What is the size? You can give anything between 1 to 2000. Minimum is 1, maximum is 2000. Okay. Then, if you don't mention the size, you will take it to 200. Right. Then, if any one of the execute fails, only that execute will fail. If the finish fails, only finish will fail. What will you do in the finish method? Generally, in the finish method, we'll write email program to send an email notification saying this operation is completed, these are success, these are not success. Post batch operation. Okay, right. Next, how many batch jobs can run at a time? Only 5 jobs. How many jobs can be added to the queue? 100 jobs, which is called flux queue. If it is in the flux queue, what is the state? Holding. If it is in the queue, what is the state? Waiting. Right. Can I shuffle the order of the jobs in flux queue? Yes. Move to next, move to front. Okay, end. Execute after, execute before. Okay. Next. Is the data is exchanged between executes? Is the data is exchanged between the execute? Data will not be exchanged between the executes by default. If you want the data to be exchanged, what we should do? We have to go for an interface called database.stateful interface. If you implement a database.stateful interface, then only state of the static, non-static variable is transferred. State of the static variables are not transferred. State of only non-static variables are transferred. If I want to call a web service, database.allows call. What is the database.batchable context? This is an interface which will hold the ID of a job and change job. What is that list of SObject scope? The current set of records on which execute is running, they are in that scope. The current list of records on which I am executing, they are in the scope. Can a class implement more than one interface? Yes. Example, I gave batchable, stateful. Okay, then we have allows, call out. Batchable, stateful, and allows, call out. I hope you are good with this. Okay. I hope you are good. Now we need to look at this topic in the combination of future, schedule, qubit. With the combination of batch, schedule, qubit, what can be done, what cannot be done. But the concept of batch is clear for everyone. Everyone has got the concept. Purpose is clear. Purpose is clear. Now, at the same time, you also need to know one more key points here. That is, if you encounter 150 DML exception, how will you resolve? Without batchbox, how will you resolve? If you encounter 100 SQL queries exception, how will you resolve? What is the workaround procedure to resolve the 150 DML exception? What is the workaround procedure to resolve 100 SQL query exception? That we also will discuss in the next session. Okay. Any query from anyone else? Anybody has any query? Yeah.
Satish said that you at a time you can run 5 batch Apex classes, right?
System will run 5 jobs at a time. Only 5 jobs will run internally at a time.
Okay.
We can
And
add.
that will be like.
We can add 100 jobs. 1 minute. We can add 100 jobs, but out of that 100, only 5 can run at a time.
Okay, and they will be kind of running as they are coming into the system.
Yes. So as I told you, as you execute, it will come to flux queue. It will check the availability of queue. If availability is there, take this job from the flux queue, add it to the queue. Not there, wait in the flux queue until the queue is available for you. Right, boss?
Satish, one question on flex queue.
Yeah, go ahead.
So on what basis like we will move the job, like we will not know what records that particular batch job is executing, right?
No, see, when he has a question on what basis the flux queue will be, you will schedule the flux queue. See, when a job is added to the queue, it will be registered with async apex job. Write a query on that async apex job, you will get a job ID. Once you get the job ID, based on the job ID, we'll move it forward or backward. Now, which records are there? Why are you moving forward or backward? You know what is the operation going on. Without knowing the operation, what is going on, that now the point is, you need to understand one point. Probably people might have mistaken. It is not the child job which is moved forward and backward. It is a job. Right? When I say job, entire batch job will be moved forward or backward, not the child jobs. You get my point? When I say we can move forward or backward using a flux queue, it is not the child job. All the child jobs together is only one job. Now you know what is the operation that is happening on the job. When you wrote a batch apex, you know why you did write a batch apex. Now when you wrote a queue, you know why you are writing. If you want to move forward, why you want to move forward? Why you want to move forward? Is it mandatory that you have to move forward? No, you are moving forward. Why are you moving forward? Now whatever the operation is there, which is already added in the queue, some batch apex are added. Now you wrote a flux queue. You feel that this should be executed first before the batch executes. That's the reason you are adding. As per your requirement only, you have to decide why should I move forward or backward. Is it mandatory that every time you have to move forward? Why are you moving forward? Which one you are moving forward? Before which job you are moving forward? What is there in that batch? If you wrote a job, why did you write a feature method? Job will be either a feature method, batch apex, schedule apex, or a queueable. So why did you write that batch apex? So as per our requirement, we want this operation to be performed. I wrote a batch, I executed it, which is in the queue. Now we are writing some other functionality using a batch apex, which you feel this should be executed before the previous job. Then I will use flux queue. Are you getting?
Yeah, got it. I misunderstood. I thought like we are moving the child jobs moving and forward.
When I say batch job, all the operation together is a job. Child jobs are a part of the job. Now it's not independent. It's a part of the job only. Okay. I hope I'm good. Chalo,
Yeah,
that's all.
got it.